Welcome back, everyone, to the deep dive. I always love getting your suggestions, and this time around we're diving into a blog post
Oh, yeah.
called Lunarized Reflections on the State of Earth and Our Evolutionary Journey.
Sounds pretty deep.
It is. It kind of blends science and spirituality in a way that really got me thinking about humanity's place in the big picture, you know?
I can definitely see that. One thing that jumped out at me right away was this idea of these 225 million year cycles.
Oh, yeah, those cycles. I was fascinated by that, too.
Like the blog uses them to argue that we're like right on the edge of a major evolutionary leap for humanity.
And they actually connect these huge timescales to specific changes in life on Earth.
Yeah. So like 775 million years ago, you had single-celled organisms evolving into multicellular life.
Huge.
I mean, that's like a massive jump in complexity.
Totally.
And then set the stage for everything that came after, right?
Yeah.
Then you've got the move from aquatic plants to land 450 million years ago, completely transforming the planet's ecosystems. And, of course, the rise of the dinosaurs 225 million years ago.
And each of these points is at the end of one of those 225 million year cycles.
Yeah, exactly.
It's mind-boggling to even try to wrap your head around these timescales.
It really is.
And then it makes you wonder, okay, what does this mean for us? We're at the end of another cycle. What could our leap even be?
Well, the blog seems to focus on human consciousness as like the evolving element here.
Mm-hmm.
It even uses the term quantum leap, which is interesting.
Quantum leap. Yeah.
Like suggesting that we're right there on the brink of this profound shift in how we think and how we understand the world.
Quantum leap always makes me think of these really sudden, dramatic changes.
Yeah.
Is that really how evolution happens, though? Especially when it comes to something as complex as consciousness?
That's a good question. It's easy to imagine evolution as these sudden jumps, right? But it's actually way more gradual. When the blog uses that quantum leap phrase, I think it's more pointing to like a culmination of all these smaller changes that are happening over time.
Okay.
Sort of like a tipping point where our awareness as a species takes a big leap forward.
So it's not necessarily overnight, but more like an acceleration of a process that's already happening.
Exactly. And what's really interesting is that the blog connects this evolutionary leap to the idea that we've chosen to be on Earth right now at this particular time.
Oh.
Like there's this suggestion that we're not here by chance, but we're active participants in this whole evolutionary unfolding.
Okay, so there's a purpose, like almost a mission.
Right, like a soul agreement to be here for this time of transformation. The blog even draws parallels to like indigenous wisdom traditions that talk about this kind of collective agreement,
That's really fascinating. And then they even link it to this idea of a galactic alignment.
Right. It's like a cosmic invitation or like a call to action. I know that might sound a bit, out there for some people.
Yeah.
But if we consider like how interconnected everything in the universe really is,
Right.
it raises some really interesting questions.
Like what kinds of questions?
Well, like could there be forces beyond our immediate understanding, that are kind of influencing our evolutionary journey?
Those are definitely thought-provoking questions. So it seems like this leap, according to the blog, isn't just about our individual growth, right?
Right, yeah.
It's also about a collective awakening for humanity as a whole.
Exactly. The blog talks a lot about the power of collective consciousness.
Yeah. Okay.
Suggesting that all our individual thoughts and beliefs actually contribute to like a larger field of awareness.
So we all play a part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when enough individuals shift their perspective,
Right.
it's like a ripple effect. And that can lead to like a big collective shift in consciousness for everybody.
It's like we're all part of this giant feedback loop.
Yeah.
Our choices affect the collective, and the collective affects us.
And that's where the blog's message of empowerment really comes in.
Okay, how so?
It really emphasizes that we have a choice.
Okay.
We actually have the power to decide which direction this whole evolutionary leap takes.
So we're not just passive bystanders.
No, not at all.
We're active participants shaping the future.
Exactly.
That's a pretty encouraging message considering all the stuff we're dealing with in the world today.
Yeah.
But how does the blog reconcile that optimism with the realities of climate change and social injustice and all the other issues we're facing?
Well, that's actually where we get into the core of the blog's message.
Okay.
It doesn't shy away from those problems, but it offers a surprisingly optimistic perspective, I think.
What do you mean?
It argues that we already have the solutions to a lot of these challenges.
They do.
The thing that's missing is the collective will to implement them.
I see.
and like a shift in consciousness to really make those solutions work.
That makes sense. It's like we have all the ingredients for a delicious meal,
Yeah,
but we haven't figured out the recipe yet, or maybe we're just hesitant to start cooking.
I love that analogy.
But it's going to be said, it can be hard to stay optimistic
Oh, for sure.
when you're constantly bombarded with like bad news and overwhelming statistics about everything that's going wrong.
Oh, absolutely. And that's exactly why the blog puts so much emphasis on shifting from a fear-based mindset to a more presence-based mindset.
Okay.
It highlights this Eckhart Tolle quote, life is not as serious as the mind makes it out to be.
I've heard that one.
When we step back from all the chaos and drama,
Yeah.
it creates this space for new possibilities to emerge.
That idea of shifting from fear to presence really resonates with me, but how do we actually do that?
Yeah.
In a world that often feels like it's designed to keep us in a state of anxiety and overwhelm.
Well, that's where the blog gets into this whole fascinating world of epigenetics and the mind-body connection.
Epigenetics.
They're not just about positive thinking, it's about understanding how our thoughts and emotions directly affect our physical reality,
Right.
including our genes.
Yeah. Okay, now this is where it gets really interesting for me. I've heard the term epigenetics, but I'm not sure I totally understand how it works. Can you explain it a bit?
Sure. In the simplest terms, epigenetics explores how our environment and lifestyle choices can actually switch genes on or off. Wow. It's like having a dimmer switch for your genes.
Dimmer switch, okay.
So factors like stress and diet, even our social connections,
Wow.
can affect not only our health,
Right?
but also the traits we pass down to future generations.
That's incredible. So it's not just about our DNA, it's about how our experiences actually modify how our genes express themselves.
Exactly. And that's a powerful idea because it means we have a lot more control over our health and well-being than we often realize.
Right.
The blog suggests that by understanding and using the power of epigenetics, we can unlock our full potential, both individually and as a species.
That makes me think of that famous Einstein quote, "You can't solve problems with the same kind of thinking that created them." So if we want to solve these really complex challenges we're facing, we need to shift our consciousness, our way of thinking,
Absolutely.
and even our understanding of what's possible.
Yeah, exactly. The blog is calling for like a new paradigm, a new way of seeing ourselves and the world around us.
A new paradigm.
And it starts with understanding that we're not just victims of circumstance, but powerful creators with the ability to actually shape our destiny.
This is really challenging my assumptions about how much agency we really have when it comes to global issues.
Yeah.
It's both exciting and a little daunting at the same time.
It is, yeah.
But, I think it's time for us to take a quick break, and we'll be back in a moment to explore the blog's message of hope and action.
This is good.
So stay tuned. Okay, so we're back and ready to explore this whole idea of shifting our consciousness and creating a better future. One thing that really stuck out to me in the blog was that concept of we are the ones we've been waiting for.
Yeah, that's a powerful statement for sure.
But what does it actually mean, in practical terms? Like, how do we apply that?
Well, it's about recognizing the power we each have as individuals
Right.
to create change.
Okay.
For so long, I think we've been looking outside of ourselves for solutions, waiting for someone else to fix things.
Yeah. Yeah.
This blog is calling for us to step up and realize that we're the ones we've been waiting for.
So it's about taking responsibility.
Yeah, taking responsibility
Okay.
and moving from a passive mindset to an active one.
So we're not just waiting for some big sweeping change to happen overnight.
Right. It's about the choices we make every day,
Yeah.
the actions we take that are aligned with our values
Okay.
and that really contribute to the well-being of ourselves, our communities, and the planet.
That makes sense. I think it can feel overwhelming to think about tackling these massive global issues.
It can.
But if we focus on what we can control, our own sphere of influence,
Exactly.
it suddenly feels a lot more manageable.
And the blog actually gives some really great examples of individuals and organizations
Okay.
that are already making a difference.
Yeah, like who?
Like this company, Name and Creative.
Okay, I've heard of them.
They've totally neutralized their carbon footprint.
Wow, that's impressive.
They didn't wait for government regulations or some new technology. They just took action, invested in environmental systems. And they proved that you can be a successful business and still be environmentally responsible.
That's a great example. It shows that it's possible,
Yeah.
It's not just this idealistic dream. It's about changing our priorities.
Right.
And making conscious choices.
Yeah, and I think for a lot of people, There's this disconnect
Oh, yeah.
between their own actions and the larger systems at play.
That's a good point.
And that's where this idea of co-creation with the cosmos comes in.
Okay, the cosmos.
It's about understanding that we're not separate from those systems.
Okay.
We're a part of them.
Remember that Simone Matthews quote? We are co-creating with the Earth, with the stars, with the universe itself.
Oh, yeah, that's a great one.
But how do we actually apply that to things like climate change or social injustice? I mean, it's a bit of a mind bender.
Right. Well, it starts with recognizing that the cosmos isn't this distant, detached thing.
Right.
It's actually a reflection of our collective consciousness,
Oh, interesting.
our thoughts, beliefs, and actions.
Okay.
The more we align ourselves with love, compassion, wisdom, a deep respect for all life,
Yeah.
the more we'll see those things manifest in our reality.
So it's about this inner shift that then affects the outer world.
Exactly. It's like the butterfly effect.
Okay.
You know, a small change in one part of the system can create huge changes elsewhere.
So our choices really do matter.
They really do. By embodying the qualities we want to see, we become part of the solution.
That's a powerful image. It means we're not powerless, right?
No, not at all.
We all have a role to play.
Yeah, and the blog actually encourages us to shift from asking why things are the way they are
Okay.
to focusing on how and what we can do to change them.
So instead of getting stuck in the problems, we should channel our energy into solutions.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's about moving from victimhood to empowerment.
I like that shift.
Yeah, it's not about ignoring the problems,
Right.
but approaching them from a place of agency and possibility.
And that's where the blog's message really resonates, I think.
Yeah.
It's not about achieving some perfect utopia overnight.
No, not at all.
It's about embracing the journey, the ups and downs, the successes and the setbacks.
And constantly striving to become more conscious, more compassionate, more aligned with our potential.
It's a continuous evolution,
Exactly.
both individually and collectively.
And it's a journey that requires patience,
Yeah.
resilience,
Mhm.
and a deep belief in our own capacity for growth and transformation.
I love that. So we might not have all the answers right now.
No, but
But if we embrace these principles outlined in the blog,
yeah,
consciousness, compassion, a commitment to action,
right.
I believe we can create a world that really reflects our highest aspirations.
I think so too.
That's beautiful. It's not about reaching some destination.
No.
It's about enjoying the journey,
Absolutely.
learning and growing along the way.
And remembering that we're not alone in this.
We're all part of this big interconnected web of life, right? And we have the power to co-create a future that honors the earth and everyone on it.
I agree.
You know, all this talk about cycles and leaps and stuff
Yeah.
makes me think about something else the blog mentioned.
What's that?
This idea that change often starts with like a shift in storytelling.
Oh,
The
interesting.
stories we tell ourselves about who we are, what's possible, all that has a huge impact on how we experience reality.
For sure.
It's like we create our own realities through those stories.
It's true.
So if we're always hearing these doom and gloom stories, no wonder people feel hopeless about the future, right?
Exactly. If we want to create a better future,
Right.
a more positive one, a sustainable one,
Yeah.
we have to start telling different stories.
What kind of stories?
Stories about resilience, innovation, collective action.
Yeah.
Stories that highlight the solutions we already have and the incredible potential that humanity has.
That reminds me of that quote, something like, the best way to predict the future is to create it.
I love that one.
It's not about just accepting what we're told is going to happen. It's about actively shaping the future we want to see.
And that takes imagination, creativity,
Yeah.
and a willingness to challenge those old narratives,
Right.
the ones that keep us stuck in fear and scarcity.
Instead of asking, why are things so messed up?
Yeah,
Maybe we should be asking, what if?
exactly. What if
Right.
we could solve climate change?
Yeah, what if?
What if we could end poverty? What if we could all live in peace?
Just asking those questions opens up so many possibilities.
It totally shifts our perspective,
Right.
from problems to solutions,
Yeah.
from limitations to potential.
It's like we become the heroes of our own story.
Exactly.
Not waiting for someone else to save us, but stepping up and taking action.
And it's not about doing it alone either.
Right.
We need each other.
Right.
We need to work together, share our knowledge, support each other.
The blog really emphasizes that collective action piece.
Yeah, it's crucial for lasting change.
It makes me think of all the people out there already working towards a better future.
Yeah, there's so many.
The activists, innovators, artists, educators, they're all contributing to this shift in consciousness.
They're the ones showing us what's possible.
And their stories inspire us to believe that we can make a difference too.
That's the point.
But it all starts with an inner shift, right?
Absolutely.
Becoming more aware of our thoughts and beliefs and actions.
And aligning them with our values.
Right.
As we do that, our actions naturally start to reflect that inner transformation.
It's that ripple effect again.
Exactly. The more we embody those qualities we want to see in the world, the more we help create that world.
It's not about being perfect.
No, not at all.
It's about constantly growing, evolving.
It's a journey, not a destination.
And there will be challenges along the way.
For sure.
Setbacks, moments of doubt.
But we hold on to that vision of a better future, that belief in our ability to create change.
Yeah.
We can keep moving forward.
And we're not alone in this.
Right. We have each other.
We have the wisdom of those who came before us.
Exactly.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave you with a question.
Go.
If we are indeed the ones we've been waiting for,
Yeah.
what actions will you take today to step into your power and make a positive impact? What story will you choose to tell?
Those are great questions.
Reflect on those, see what comes up.
I like that.
Thanks for joining us on this incredible exploration.
It's been a pleasure.
And until next time, keep diving deep, keep questioning, keep creating the world you want to see.